Welcome to my channel, Crafting with me and Deannie Jones, and welcome to the last thing thrifted, together with my friends Jody at Southern Seasons, Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling, Monica of Up All Night DIY, Shelly of Repurpose My Way, Marika of Marika's Creations, and Zaina of OK at Home DIY. Together, we're gonna make some thrift flips ready for spring. Let's go! For this first one, I found this little caddy at one of those church bazaars. I love the church bazaars. They're fantastic. They're so inexpensive. And this was probably around $1 or $2. I think it was $1. And they probably added some things in it. As you can see, it's metal. It doesn't match any of my decor. So let's shabby chic it up. The first thing I'm going to do, clean it up after I had cleaned it. I am going to use some chalk paint, because I'm finally going to use some of my inlays. Believe it or not, I have some of those IOD paint inlays, and I thought, well, let's try it out. I haven't used them in a while. I've had them around for like 2 years, and I think it's about time I use them, especially this beautiful print with these roses and the vines and leaves. It's just so perfectly shabby chic. I went over with the chalk paint on this little caddy twice, and after the second time, this is when I'm going to apply my inlay. The first thing you have to do, and I'm sorry I did it off camera, was I wet the inlay on the inside where the design is, and now I'm going to affix it to my caddy, and there's little Luna coming to check on me. And then I'm going to spray the outer side so you can see how you can see through the paper once it's all wet. Now, this is so important to be able to really make sure that this turns out well. And here I'm just using my little squeegee to make sure that it's all attached to the paint below. Now I'm doing the same for the sides, and what I decided to do to not waste all the inlays, because the back side I'm not going to see that much, and the other side, the rounded side, the same thing. So I'm going to use the second the same inlays on the other two sides. It'll turn out a little more faded, but that's okay. It looks rustic and shabby chic perfect. Now, I also found this little tray at Walmart for only $1, and of course it matches the paint I already have. But then you say to yourself, but Annie, if you don't have to paint something, what do you use? For this little tray, I'm actually going to use Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel, and it works perfect, and I don't have to cover the tray in chalk paint. And here I am. This is after I've already set it with the Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel, and now I'm just making sure that it's all affixed and adhered. And as you can see now, it's dry. You can see when it's dry, it looks like it's cloudy. And here I'm just using a little bit of my heat gun just to make sure that all little corners are nice and dry before I wet it again and remove it. Now I'm using a little atomizer just to mist a little bit of water, just to make sure that I can remove that backing, and you'll see the result. I didn't show you the results for all of the projects that I did, like the little caddy, but I thought this would be a good enough one for you to have that satisfaction to see how lovely the transfer worked, especially on this little tray. And I think it's absolutely perfect, and now it'll match my caddy very, very well, and I just love it. It's perfect for spring. And you know what else is perfect for spring? The Yesoul cycle. This was such a wonderful opportunity when they reached out to me to ask me to try out their exercise cycle, and I was very, very impressed. Here is Luke. He's helping me out to put this together, and it was very, very easy to put together. As you can see, it has just the main cycle part, and you just have to add the handlebars, and just so that it can, the stabilizers on either side, and of course the 21-inch screen, as well as the speakers. So let me tell you, this is so fun to have. And there's Kudu, of course, keeping watch over us to make sure we're doing everything to the highest quality, as she is our quality control cat. And again, it's super adjustable and just so much fun. Here's Luke trying out the first time that we have the cycle all set and ready to go. But once I got a chance to do it, I was able to connect my phone so that I can just choose my classes and stay motivated while I'm cycling. And I love the fact that it's great to have in the house. I don't have to worry about going to the gym, and I'm always ready and raring to go whenever I can. There I go, cycling away. And it is such a great way to keep fit, especially for springtime and all year long. You don't have to worry about going out into the weather, into the rain, or into the cold. You can always exercise and find a way to keep fit with the Yesoul cycle. More information about this cycle and all of their products are included in my description down below. Now here's another little item that I had in my stash. I don't know where it came from, but I decided that I wanted to continue using that wonderful IOD paint inlay. Now I didn't have much of a theme this week, but I just decided to use up whatever I had that was spring or Easter related so that I am ready for the Easter week that's coming right around the bend. So here once again I am using that paint inlay on my wet chalk paint, and this paint inlay had already been used once before, so that is why it looks so light. And I am going to try to see if I can pull out a little more color from another piece of the inlay. Now here I'm taking a little painting of Peter Rabbit, and it's just a printout from my printer, and I'm just using a little bit of wet brush to outline and make it easy to rip. And here you have it, is my little Peter Rabbit. But I want to add a little bit of moss just to give it more of a springtime feel. Once again, I got this beautiful bird cage at one of the church bazaars, and again it was a ridiculous price, like $1 or $2. And all I'm going to do, it's already gold, and it seemed like it was pretty newly painted. So all I did was add some of this like linen chalk paint, and this chalk paint is actually from Folk Art, from the Plaid family of products. So I just added a little touch of white, or that actually like a cream color. Now I decided to put some florals in. So before I do that, I wanted to cover our styrofoam, and it's just a regular green styrofoam that you can find from the Dollar Tree. I covered it in moss, and now I'm going to cover it in beautiful springy pink colors of roses. I decided for this decor I wanted to use all the colors of the pink and almost coral colored roses that kind of match the paint inlay that I've been using for the little tray and my little caddy. And I think I did a pretty good job trying to combine all of these very bright and happy colors, perfect for spring. And once I'm done with my centerpiece, all I'm going to do is add it into my bird cage, and I think it makes for such a lovely decor, and you can use this all year round. So if you're looking for a last minute decoration or centerpiece for your home, this is it. So I found a whole set of these tiny little clay pots, these terracotta pots, and now I'm adding a little styrofoam ball covered in moss. And you're like, what is she up to today? Well, let me show you. I have a vast collection of enamel pendants, earrings, pins, and it's, vintage, but they're all florals, and I feel so bad that they're just hidden away. So here I'm going to display them as a little garden, of all these wonderful vintage selections. Look at this beautiful violet one. I actually got that on Katherine Young. She has a YouTube channel where she goes thrifting and she sells vintage items. Now, what about earrings? These clip earrings. All I did was cover a popsicle stick with moss, and there you go. It's a little, oh my gosh, I love this, like a little tree or a little vine with these beautiful little floral earrings. So I just thought it's such a shame that I have this beautiful collection and they're always just hidden away in a box, in my jewelry box. So now I am going to use this as a display. Now, if you sell vintage jewelry and you have this kind of jewelry, what a wonderful way for you to display it. And there's one of my rings, to display it in your store, in your shop, and in your area for like a vintage antique market. I think this is wonderful. Not only that, but you can sell it with the little clay pot. And this would be not just a beautiful gift for Easter or spring, but wow, for Mother's Day, could you imagine what a beautiful way to display, sell, and even gift a little enamel pendant that's floral for spring, which is perfect. I am so delighted with this. I haven't seen anybody else do this. And I think, honestly, if you put this in your store, who's going to be able to resist? I couldn't. Look at me. I couldn't resist it at all. I'd probably be buying the whole set. But anyway, here is my display case. And you've seen this before. I've used it for Halloween. I've used it for Christmas. And now it's perfect for spring. So Katherine Young has a channel where she sells all of her vintage finds, and I actually won this little gift of ephemera. I did get the little basket, I did purchase that, and it arrived right before my birthday, which was fabulous, and the little chicken and a bunch of other little items, including that beautiful violet brooch that you saw before. But look at this little girl as well, and I wanted to be able to use all of these vintage finds. Look at this. Oh, I love that little it was a handkerchief. But now let's just go on and fill this little basket. This is a little vintage basket. Apparently it was like a doily that somebody had used like fabric stiffener. And I'm just going to include that little chicken and that little postcard, and look how perfect for Easter. Today I'm focusing on a lot of small little ideas simply because I don't have the space to keep making more and more decor for Easter. But I thought this was a cute idea. If you have any empty spools, and they could be wooden or they could be styrofoam, cover them in a nice colored ribbon, a nice satin ribbon like I'm doing here with the yellow. And then I'm going to make a little nest. You see those tiny little birds? I had purchased those on clearance at Hobby Lobby, I believe last spring. Now I'm adding a little bit of lace because I thought, oh, let's make it a little shabby chic with a little piece of lace right in the middle. And now I'm adding a teeny tiny little nest. I just thought this was so cute, and this is so fast and easy. You can do this with kids. You can help them with the hot glue. They can wrap the ribbons, and you can create a little table setting for each of your guests for Easter. Now, I was just going to put the little bird, and then I realized I had these two little pearls that were like oval pearls, or, they were a little elongated, so they look like little bird's eggs. And now I'm just going to add a vine that, again, I had from last year. So I call it thrifted, because when you get things at 80-90% off the previous year, that's the best way to go. And there you go. I've created a little tiny nest in a basket, perfect for any table setting for your Easter decor. Now I have this little silver sugar container, which I thought would be cute for, again, some table decor. If you don't have a huge table, or you want to have space for your food on the table, this is a great way to create these small little, decorations that you can put all over your Easter table, and it would be just adorable. And you can give them away as gifts if you'd like. So I had this sugar container. It's beautiful. It's silver, but again, it's always in my cabinet. I don't display it. I don't have, tea time that much. All I did here was I added a bit of a styrofoam ball, half of a styrofoam ball, and you see I also added some moss, and I added a popsicle stick because I have these little bunnies. I bought a threesome of these little ceramic bunnies at the church bazaar, and they were only $1, and they are hollow inside, and I thought this was a good way to stabilize the bunny into that container. I had these tiny little eggs once again, and this little mushroom, and I thought this was adorable. All I'm going to do now is add some tiny little florals, and I just love this. I think it's so darling. It's so cute. And what I also love is at the end of the season, I can just pull out the styrofoam ball, and I am ready to use this for any other season, or I can go back to use it as a container for my sugar for tea time. Isn't that cute? Now, when I got this cute little, I guess, Cupid doll or whatever, it's a cute little ceramic doll or China doll in my selection that I got from Katherine's online auction. She does her auctions on YouTube Live, and they're so fun. But anyway, I wanted to incorporate her into my spring decor. So first I had to get her dressed. So all I did was use a little piece of ribbon. It was wired, so it was very easy to just gather at the top, and then I just cut the bottom because I like to see her little feeties. Her little feeties are so cute, and I just thought she had the cutest little face, like she's worried about something. And I was like, well, what's she worried about? I gotta give her something to do. So I had this cute little pail, and again, this is all being thrifted from within my stash. I'm really trying to be very I guess cost effective and use what I already have, because I have a bunch of stuff, if you haven't noticed, so there's no need to buy more. There isn't. And all I'm doing now is getting some moss, and yes, I had to go out and get some more moss because I ran out of moss last week. So I was so happy that I could get some new moss and include it in my projects today. Now, this cute little gate, I had gotten it on clearance. They're getting rid of a lot of their miniature stuff, but I actually got this a couple of years ago, and I had it in my miniature stash. I have a little stash of miniature stuff, literally. And I thought this was such a cute little gate, and I had to display it for spring or Easter. I also had these tiny, teeny little bunny rabbits in my stash from, I guess a sponsor sent me these tiny little miniatures for, like, I guess fairy gardens, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect for a little fairy garden. But instead of a fairy, it's a very worried little girl. She has this little worried face on. Now, she had a bit of damage on her head, like a scratch or something, and so I just put a little bow at the front of her hair because that's where the little scratch was. And I added her little dress. Now I'm adding some flowers and mushrooms and Easter eggs, and this is just turning out so cute, and I absolutely love it. Adding some more florals, adding some vine to that garden gate. And if you notice, there's a little Frenchie, and I think she's worried that the little Frenchie is gonna fight with the bunnies, but he just wants to play with the bunnies. Nothing's gonna happen with the bunnies. And I just think this is a cute, adorable little assemblage, as you know I like to do for Easter and spring, and it's something that's cute and small, and I can put it away right after Easter and bring it out each and every year, because I really, really do love how adorable this has turned out. And once again, if you don't have a big table and you don't want to have a lot of table decor or a big table decoration, this is a cute way to incorporate a little bit of Easter and spring in your decor.
In a room that's full of magic and thread, Indiana's got visions in her head. Guru purrs while Luna weaves the night. Messy craft room, but everything feels right. Glitter dust and buttons on the floor. Every day's a new adventure and more. Canvas bright in colors like a dream. Indiana's world feels just like a beam.
Thanks again to my friends Jody at Southern Seasons, Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling, Monica of Up All Night DIY, Shelly of Repurposed My Way, Marika of Marika's Creation, and Zaina of OK at Home DIY for hosting The Last Thing Thrifted, and everyone who's joined us on this thrifted playlist. Thanks again for stopping by, and if you enjoyed this, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you, and remember to live the adventure. And I'll see you again very, very soon.